Today we're taking plain Dollar Tree glass vases and giving them a whole new life with simple, affordable DIYs. These transformations bring charm and warmth to any space. Over 20 ideas, keeping it budget friendly and really fun. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and let's jump on into it. The first thing I go to is tissue paper, just because like decoupaging like napkins or tissue paper onto projects is super common and popular. A lot of people love to do that. So this is no different. I love this little plant print. I think it's absolutely gorgeous with all of these leaves on there. It looks very like boho, but very kind of neutral, and you could go with any style. So for this, I'm using 2 different sizes of these little hurricane lantern candle holders from the Dollar Tree, and I cut one down to size, and then for the taller one, I wanted it to be about an inch taller, so I do go ahead and lay that down and make sure that it's a little bit bigger, and then using my Mod Podge just to adhere this directly to the candle holder. Now for this project, I actually want to pair it with some of Dollar Tree's floating candles. Believe it or not, I don't think I've ever used floating candles in any of my Dollar Tree DIYs before, so excited to get to use those. I didn't even worry about the wrinkles on this jar. I just go ahead and do a layer of Mod Podge over the top of it, and then just to give this a little bit more of a finished look, I do use a little bit of the burlap ribbon to go around the top, and I just feel like it really kind of divides up the glass and the little decoupage piece and just makes it look better as a whole. So I go ahead and do the other one and then fill these up with water and add in the floating candle. I think these are gorgeous, would be a fun centerpiece, but also like really fun for like a bathroom, where anywhere that you would enjoy like the candles lit up to make it look really cozy and elegant. Alright, here's another fun way to use some of the clear glue. Pick up 2 large vases. One of these is the largest $1.25 vase, and then this one is actually $3 in the plus section, and it's quite a bit taller. That's what I was looking for. 2 that was kind of nestled together whenever I wanted to display this. I wanted to create some fun vases for floating candles, and I'll share with you guys the floating candles that I picked up. And this was super easy to put together. Once again, doing my hack of putting the little rocks down in the bottom and then pouring some clear glue on top and then putting in these little lilac pieces. I did try to measure so that they would set quite a bit under the top of this so that my candles would float above them. And you do want to let this completely dry before adding water in here so it doesn't mess up your Elmer's glue. I've even done this with real resin and it works the same. So either way that you want to do it, and if you use hot glue, make sure that you do use some cool water just to make sure it's not going to pull up your glue, but it doesn't seem to affect the Elmer's glue. Just poured it right on top of the rocks, stuck the little flower picks down in there, and then let this cure overnight. You can tell that lavender, this purpley color, is one of my favorites from Dollar Tree. All of the florals, or most of the florals in this video. I filled these up with water and just popped in one of my favorite floating candles. These are actually in the pool section whenever Walmart comes out with all of their pool supplies, so look for those. They're battery powered and seem to work really well. Okay, so just because you don't have a cutting mat doesn't mean you still can't cut up and use this vinyl in different ways. I picked up some of the stencils from the Crafter's Square, and I tried to find pieces, like some of these leaves were in separate pieces, but I tried to find the stencils that were just one solid piece. Like this leaf, I thought it was so gorgeous and would go perfect with like boho decor. So I traced it with a pencil and then cutting this out. This was super easy, and you're going to get the same look without having the cutting machine. I repeated this until I had several leaves cut out, and then you can place this around any type of planter or candle holder. For the first project, I did put it on this little planter. I feel like it really pops off of the white, and you can just kind of space them out evenly, and it really dresses up just a plain white plastic planter. I also thought this looked really neat on the outside of a jar. I kind of wrapped it around just any type of clear jar and then lit a candle in there, and it lights up so beautifully, but so many ways that you can dress up just any plain jar. I also love to use a ruler to be able to cut out strips of the vinyl, and for this one I'm just using a candle holder that I had sprayed down with some adhesive glue to give it kind of a textured look, and then wrapping this around the bottom, and something so simple can really dress this up and make it go more with your style. One of my favorite things that I made with this was like an outdoor little solar bouquet. Turned out really cute. All you need is a glass container for the vase. You could also use plastic or metal if you're worried about it breaking outdoors, but I used one of these little circular signs to create like a little stand so I could attach everything together and make sure it's glued down nice and tight. All I did was paint it gray, and then I'm going to use some solar lights for the bouquet part, so using some of these artificial flowers just to give it a little bit of extra color and glue it around the base. I added in some decorative white rocks, and then these are the solar flowers that I'm using. Dollar Tree is always really great about putting out different types of solar lights for each spring season. They were a little tall for me, so I cut them down because none of the wires or anything is in this stake part. It's all on the top of the flower, but I feel like it fit a lot better. I think it is so cute put together. I love it just like this, but if you can't find that many lights, or you just want to use a regular light, you can actually just glue one down in the top of this. It would still be a really cute piece. Personally, like I said, I like the bouquet of flowers sticking up really tall, but let me know which one you prefer down in the comments below. And then these are too pretty not to create a fun floral bouquet with them just as they are. So for this one, I am using a heavy concrete planter just because I like to do that. Use things higher in that I have on hand, and this wreath I almost threw it in the yard sale for like $1, but I decided that I knew I could put this to good use without just throwing it out, so I decided to put it around this ceramic planter or this concrete planter, pop a piece of styrofoam inside, and then all I did was cut off the tags and put these solar flowers into the styrofoam, and it's a beautiful centerpiece that I put together with things that mostly I already had on hand. The flowers were just $1.25 each, and all of the wiring is in the top of the flower, so I was able to just trim them down easily with my miter shears and get them the size I wanted to. Kind of did the same thing as earlier and just made the front one a little bit shorter so they look more like a grouping, but I think it's a really fun centerpiece on an outdoor table, but also adds a fun splash of color at night. Okay, so I found this glass etched vase online for $160. It says it's trending, a gorgeous piece. It has some really fun greenery designs, little vines all around it, but it also has some personalization at the top. For this project, I wanted to share with you exactly how to do this. I'm going to skip the personalization because I'm not actually gifting this, but how easy would it be to put your last name or an established year at the top? So easy to do, and it's the same concept. For this, I just opened up my Cricut design space and I typed in vines or greenery and found some really cool designs and decided to cut out several of them. I am backwards weeding it, so pulling away the actual design itself so that it is going to leave me a stencil, and then cut around these as close as I could without getting too close because I still want there to be space to paint on top of these, and then put them all over the vase. And then I'm going to be using some glass etching cream. Also, like Armor Etch is a popular brand to do this with, but putting that inside of the design, just painting it on, leaving it on for a few minutes, and then washing it off. This project was actually really fun to do. I enjoyed cutting the paper or the vinyl away from the design and sticking these all over in different directions, and it turned out really cool in the end. If I had it to do over with, I might have filled in the little gaps in between them with some more of my scrap vinyl, but still turned out really good. I just tried to be careful with it with my glass etching cream, but it literally says to leave this on for 3 to 5 minutes. I tried to leave it on just a couple of minutes longer and then made sure that I rinsed it off really good. Make sure that you always use your gloves and protect your eyes whenever working with this stuff, but just follow the directions. But I've used it several times and I'm always so happy with the results of it. And using the vinyl, like, it worked perfect. It made the perfect custom stencil where I was able to make it however I wanted to. Like I said, you could put like a large initial at the top. You could put a date on this. I just wanted this for myself, so I'm just going to go ahead and make these fun designs all over the entire thing, but it turned out really, really good. After I washed away all of the excess residue, then I was left with the most beautiful design, just pulling this vinyl up. I left my gloves on a little bit, but I decided to go ahead and rinse it again and took them off to get the excess of the vinyl off. Also using my little weeding tool, but you can see the design on this is absolutely gorgeous. Such a fun way to take just a cheap, inexpensive dollar store vase and turn it into something really gorgeous that you could actually gift, save a ton of money, and whoever you're gifting this to is going to think that you spent a ton of money on this. I'm using 6 crates. You can see that one of them doesn't match, but I'm going to throw it in the back so you're not even going to be able to tell. But I start by gluing 2 of these together at a time, trying to make sure they're aligned as perfect as possible because I want this box to be really nice and straight. And then after I get them attached, I attach the 2 pieces together. So just take it step by step. I am actually using this new stain that I've been loving. It's called Western Oak by Varathane, and it seems to be working very well. Just now getting to put it to good use, but I love the color of it. It doesn't have any orange undertones, and it's like a lighter brown color, which I really love. I do take some of these wooden planks and glue them in the middle because I needed like a platform to set my candle holders on, and then this gives me the space to kind of stuff the edges with some Spanish moss. I didn't want to put it in there yet and have the Spanish moss poking out of those holes in the front, so I did cut a little bit of faux leather and just kind of glue that in place so that it has a nice background. So I go ahead and glue down my candle holders. I had these with the taller one in the center and then the 2 shorter ones on the edges. And then this little garland actually come from Hobby Lobby originally. It was $15.99, but I didn't purchase it from there. I actually picked it up at a garage sale. It had 50 cents on it. And if I see something like this out, I grab whatever I see because I know I can always put this to good use later on. And that saves you a ton of money. Even getting this half off, like $7 just to put in a project, automatically like makes your project like not worth DIYing it. You should just purchase it. But I know large centerpieces like this at Kirkland's can be up to like $70, but I thought this was a gorgeous piece, some LED candles in there, and ready to decorate with this for spring. Rope. This is another hack. If you pick up one of these large style vases from the Dollar Tree that have like the wider mouth at the top, you can use the nautical rope to glue it around the top of a solar light. This is just a solar light from Dollar Tree. I just pulled the stake off of the bottom, and then I wanted to dress up this kind of like a little terrarium or something, so I put some white rocks in there as well as some like colorful floral. I think it's always fun adding those pops of color outside. I kind of played around with it until all of the flowers were showing up really pretty, and then just glued the light down on top, and this is really going to make it light up and look really pretty outside as well. This time I thought I would do a watermelon. So that's one of my favorite things to decorate with for summer. I love the pink and the green contrast. I think that is so beautiful, but it also, like, I love watermelons and we grow them every year, so it's just a fun way to represent summer. So I wanted to paint this jar pink instead of red, but you could pick whichever color that you would like. But I mixed a couple of different colors of pink, mostly because I didn't have much pink left and all I had was blush, but I love how rich this pink color is. And then I tried to layer up the paint by doing the white and then some of the dark green, put the little stripes on there. I added on some black seeds. Once again, going to make sure that I do coat this with some clear gloss spray paint to make sure it's not going to scratch off, but this will also look so adorable and I love the pops of the colors. So this even feels silly to mention, it's so easy, but I love this. Grab some of this disappearing purple spray adhesive from the Dollar Tree, take any glass container and kind of spritz it on there very lightly. So you don't want a lot of runs. It's easy to get runs if you overspray or spray like the second coat too fast, but do this a couple of times, letting it completely dry in between, and it adds like such a fun texture to these glass containers. You'll definitely have to try it out for yourself, but I just love how it gives it a different look and everything's just not like crystal clear. It also hides like smudges whenever you are trying to decorate with these. I was actually really concerned. My Dollar Tree quit selling these large glass containers for quite a while and I was hoping it wasn't discontinued, but I was just in there last week and I found some more of them. So I did go ahead and stock up on them just in case they pull them back again. So let me know if there's any Dollar Tree items that you have been like thinking maybe is discontinued. I would love to hear from you. I always get so scared because I just depend on some of these items all the time because this is something that I craft with a lot of. But for these, I just wanted them to have like a slightly modern look, so I painted the bottom half black and then put that little ribbon around so I didn't have to worry about the paint being perfect. And these just like are less than 5 minutes too, but make like a huge upgrade and really dress up any space. So I've made a DIY like this several times before for each holiday. I love double stacking this. The larger jar came, or larger glass container, came from Dollar General. It was just a few bucks extra, but I love the size of it. But any two glasses like this that fit inside each other will work. It makes the perfect little pocket in the sides to decorate. I've put candy corn in one of these as well as the little conversation hearts for Valentine's Day. But for this, I thought it would have more of a high-end look if I filled it with some of these gorgeous rocks and you could display them without making the mess. And then I was able to put a little piece of styrofoam down in the middle and then played around with the greenery. I used the biggest greenery came from Hobby Lobby, and then these actually came from Walmart. I just kind of tucked them in wherever I saw the space was needed, and I left this plain, but it would also look cute with like one of the Dollar Tree wooden charms. Last year was a year of collecting bracelets, so for this next project, all you're going to need is 2 glass containers of your choice. I went with this simple, taller hurricane vase from Dollar Tree as well as the smaller one. I think they look so good setting together. For this one, I wanted to switch up the wax a little bit, so I went with a purple color, and I thought it was really pretty. It's like dark enough that all of the beads are going to show up really nicely. This is something you could make, like my daughter's going to absolutely love this in her room. She can put all of her Swifty bracelets on, but it's also something that you can put like in a kid's bathroom, in my bathroom, to hold my jewelry. These are a little large for the girls' bracelets, so you might have to test that like in the store if you have bracelets that you want to put on here. So I just pushed the beads to the front. But you can just let these cool off, let the wax harden, fill it up with whichever beads that you want, but is a perfect way to display them and looks really cute. Okay, so I have used Dollar Tree supplies to create terrariums for several years on my channel. I've made them out of clear bowls and clear vases, so you definitely can make this using a Dollar Tree container, but I'm just putting all the Dollar Tree supplies in this bigger container that come from at home. It was 50% off, so on the clearance rack, less than 10 bucks, and I feel like the gold just kind of fit more with my style, but you could use any container that you already have. Check the thrift store if you want some inexpensive glassware, because they always have huge pieces for $1.50 at my local thrift store. But I'm filling this in with some Dollar Tree rocks, some succulents. Some of these succulents come from Pop Shelf for just $1, so even cheaper than buying them at Dollar Tree. I added in some of these little wooden stems as well as some green moss, and I just love how this came together. I added one large succulent on top and looks like the perfect little terrarium that you could add fairy lights to. I was blown away whenever I saw that Dollar Tree sells resin, so I was dying to try it out using those same little mini flowers. I wanted to try it and use the resin as like the little fake water in the bottom of a vase. Now I have done this with Mod Podge, just kind of letting it dry in multiple layers, but it doesn't show up as much as like the real resin does. So following the directions, it says mix 1 part resin, 1 part hardener, and mix it together. I decided to just make this easy and as clean as possible, so I put it right directly into the vase, but you can also mix this in like a plastic cup and then pour it in there, and then started to add the flowers. Now these little dainty flowers that I was using didn't stand up very well on their own, so I just got a little pick that I already had and cut it apart and started putting like the larger flowers first, the ones that could kind of lean against the edges, and they held each other up so perfect, and I was so excited. Now the resin is $5 from Dollar Tree, but I still feel like that is a great deal. If you purchase like the fake water in craft stores, it's over $10, as well as like a already put together arrangement at like TJ Maxx. You can pay like really higher prices to get that like fake water look. So loved how this turned out, an incredible idea that I'll keep using over and over. Today I am using these tall candle holders in several places in this video, or these hurricane lanterns, but I'm also pairing it with some of these little tulips. And I did pick these up at Target Dollar Spot. Also love checking Walmart, Hobby Lobby, but these just really caught my eye, and they have like a real feel to them. They were $1 each, but just look for any type of tulip that you could cut down the size of the jar. I wanted this one to be different. I'm actually putting the tulip down inside of the jar or the glass instead of it acting as a vase and the flower sticking above it. But I needed to dress it up just a tiny bit first. So I added in some white rocks from Dollar Tree, mixed some of the Dollar Tree Plus section epoxy, and if you can't find it at Dollar Tree, Walmart always has it, especially in like the Mod Podge brand. I really like using that brand, but you just mix 1 part hardener, 1 part resin. You mix it for like 3 to 5 minutes. Always make sure that you use proper safety gear, a mask and gloves and goggles or glasses, just to make sure that you're being super safe. I know epoxy is very like smelly and you need to be safe with it, but after I got it how I liked it, I just put a little bit at the bottom. I put in these tulips. I did 2 taller ones in the back and a shorter one in the front, and these are gorgeous. This would be perfect for a wedding or party display, but also just for spring, as that perfect pop of color, and they just look so natural and cute. This is a really fun DIY. Dollar Tree has these really big jars, and if you remove the lid, they're just perfectly glass, like have wide mouths on them, and really pretty. So I found these little picks at Walmart. I just loved how they had greenery, dark flowers, light flowers, and just loved the combo look of this. And I feel like it was a really great deal. I'm pretty sure it was around $1. For this project, I am just sticking a little bit of hot glue down in the bottom and then gluing these flowers to the bottom. We are going to be filling these up and putting some floating candles right on top. So I want to make sure everything's nice and secure to the bottom. Make sure that you do use cold water, because you don't want any hot water heating up your hot glue, because all of your plants or flowers are going to float to the top. But to go ahead and secure everything down in there, fill these up with water. I added some LED floating candles. I actually found them at Walmart in the pool section. They were really cool. I won't have to worry about a real flame, but if you do enjoy the smell, to put off a good scent, you could use the real wax ones.